an uncomfortably long intro. But yeah, welcome to JSHeroes, and I'm really happy to see you here, and I'm super excited to be here. I always wanted to be on this stage, and the last time I was here, the stage was on that side, actually, and I was like, oh, man, I wish I was there ever. But now I am here, so that's cool, right? So, what are you laughing? It's not even funny. I'm not. Okay. Okay, thank you for the validation. Right, so yeah, I guess I'm gonna be talking about reverse engineering JavaScript. The first time I made this talk, actually the last time I made this talk was 3 years ago, and it's a bit dated, but I think we can still have some fun. So now, if you ever seen an interview question like this, like, you know, you get on the whiteboard and they ask you, like, what's the order the console log is gonna pop out? And who knows the answer to this question? What's the right order? Okay, yes, that's true. So, my answer is I have no idea, but I know how to find out. So I will just copy and paste it in the browser, and it will run, and I will see the answer, right? That's how it works. We find out, and by the end of this talk, oh wait, it's too soon, a bit too soon. Yeah, by the end of this talk, I just wish maybe some of you would be able to comfortably say I have no idea, but I know how to find out, right? This is my name. My name is Misha, and I'm not gonna pop up like a bunch of things. I work at this company and that company because we don't have much time. Is the timer running? I don't think it is because I have no idea. Right. So my thesis, my statement is you don't have to know everything. Yeah. All right. So we probably have a bunch of React developers here, right? Raise your hands. Just don't clap. Just raise your hands, right? Okay, so how many of you actually know how React hooks work under the hood, like in deep detail? How do they know how to run again? Just one person who wrote a book on React, and another one. Okay, excellent. So as you can see, the talk is a bit dated. So this is for Svelte 3. So in the meantime, it had these like magic brackets. Anyone knew how they work? I don't know. Now they have Svelte runes, and I still have no idea how they work. Mostly, right? Some people know, some people don't. So I have no idea, but I know how to use them, and I do them day to day, many years. Some people use them for many years. They're not like a deep dive engineers. They're framework operators, and that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. You don't have to know, but it's nice to know, isn't it? Right? So you could get in, and you get to know things. And in this day and age, we already told about how we sent JavaScript to space. And you know how JavaScript is everywhere these days. So it runs on the edge, in the cloud, in the laptops. It's actually, I have a watch on my hand, and it runs JavaScript, believe it or not. And it's everywhere. And some people say, you know what? I kind of hate that JavaScript is everywhere. Anyone hates that JavaScript is everywhere? Everything is so slow? Yes? Yeah. I love it. I love it. So JavaScript is, so it's your Slack, your VS Code, it's all JavaScript under the hood. It's TypeScript, ReasonML, whatever compiles to JavaScript. Under the hood, it's always still JavaScript. This event loop is spinning in every little device, even in space, as we already said. And the reason I love it is very simple, because JavaScript it's like you can change the way it runs at runtime. It's an interpreted language. You can do whatever you want, and essentially you get the source code of all the things for free. Imagine like companies would give out the source code of the apps. Wow, that's wild. It actually happens right now if you go to any website ever, right? And you can just open DevTools, and you can change the website as it runs. That's incredible. We don't get any power like this with like usual software. Actually, we somewhat do, but it doesn't matter. Here's a story time. It is a website. By the way, I apologize. If you have weak eyes, everything here in this talk is going to be white for, I guess, the first half. So I apologize for that. But that's, I guess, skill issue. You have to train with the light mode daily, and then your eyes naturally harden, and then you're able to perceive. So I use light mode in all my IDEs. So yes. Yes, I have strong eyes. Right, so this is a website called thegarden.us. It's like a healthy healthy food retail store, I suppose, right? And what you can do is you go here. As a respectable member of the community, you have your membership card. You go in, and it says, oh, you get a chance to get the grocery deals. I was like, okay, I like discounts. Like, it's a game. They offer me to flip some cards and pick my discounts. right? And I flip the first one, flip the other one. And see, it's pretty good, I guess. I got 30% off. I got 17% off. That's fair, right? I was like, OK, it says come back tomorrow, right? After a timer runs out. I was like, OK, that's fair. So I come back tomorrow. You notice I do have a couple of accounts here. And I'm coming back tomorrow. And I try again. I was like, OK, that's fun. And next day it is. Let's flip it up. 30% off. It's fair something. But I was like, always like, listen, this has 84% off. I want to get that. This one is 83% off. Can you believe that? Like, how come I never get this? I only get 16, 30? That's miserable. I want to get more. So I was like, OK. So I came back tomorrow again. I think it's this one. I come back tomorrow again, and I was like, OK, let's end the story time for now. So I have invented a mental model and a framework, not a JavaScript framework, called Orium. I always wanted to make up an acronym because I think acronyms are cool and they make everything sound cool. And yeah, so I made an acronym and that stands, actually, Orium, not to be confused with a Serbian tire company with the same name. And observe, what you do is observe, you reproduce, then you infiltrate, untangle, and modify. And let's apply this to let's apply this in practice. Let's see. Now you can forget the acronym, it no longer matters. Yeah, so I was like, I don't know about you, but if I go to a website and it shows me a giant pop-up, please disable ad blocker to continue using it. What do? You go to DevTools, right, and you just delete the pop-up. I do this all the time. I mean, for some websites, of course, for some websites, you want to support the website, maybe you want to enable ads for them. Just be a nice person if they're run on donations or it's like a Wikipedia or something. Anyway. I don't think Wikipedia has that. It doesn't matter. So what I do usually is like I'm naturally curious. So I see, oh, it's a website. OK, how exactly is it working under the hood? So one of the things you used to be able to do is you would open the source code, and you would actually see all the JavaScript the way the developers intended it to be written. But those days are gone. Like you see all of this. It's like jumbled thing. There's like that. What is this? Everything is unreadable by default, right? And these days are gone. Like you could no longer see the JavaScript people. Like sometimes you can still go and see maybe a bit of jQuery mixed in and stuff like that. That's fun. But usually you see a thing like this. Like you open it up and it's all bundled up JavaScript. And if you go to sources in here and you see this is usually naturally it looks like a long line. Come on, like a very long line. Never mind. Let's go back. What do we do? Oh, of course, observe. So what happens? What exactly happens? What I like to do is I open a network tab, and go click around, and I log in again. This is the last one, I think. And you can see some network requests start popping up. And when the place start, see, a request is being made to who names their endpoints 102? What is this? 70/74/102. OK, excellent. Right? See, clicking things. So you can see this is actually an analytics request. So it doesn't really do anything. It's actually like, yeah, that's dangerously, OK. Let's filter that out. We're all grown-ups here. So we filtered the request. We don't want to see analytics requests. It's fair, like every respectable website has to have it. So as you can see, if you paid enough attention, you could see that when I was revealing the cards, there were no network requests being made. So the client already knows the things that the choices I'm about to make are rigged. There's no game. I am not selecting anything. In fact, if you open network tab, right, and you can see I got array of items from here. There's like and there's actually a property called possible, which dictates predetermines the discounts I make. And actually, in fact, if you let me see. Let me go. The text on these slides is for me to remember what to talk about, not for the audience. Yes. So yeah. So the game is rigged. That's what we found out, right? And then I was like, OK, What else can I do? I usually sometimes, I don't know if you do that, you just visit the website and you go to the application tab here and see what kind of cookies are they storing, right? So what do they have? Like local storage, some analytics stuff, right? And they have the cookies as well. Oh, yeah. So again, there's like user session and like a bunch of jumbo cookies right here, right? And I was like, okay. Since we want to reproduce stuff now, I want to get to this state. If I want to play around with this, I want to get to this state in the application as fast as possible. And one of the things, I was like, OK, what do we actually have here? This is a cookie that actually suspiciously looks like a base 64. I was like, I wonder, what if I go here? Is it ATOB or B2AA? Which one is the, I think it's, no, it's ATOB. ATOB, yeah. I always confuse those two. Look at that. It stores my username in a cookie and a timestamp at which time I played. It was like, OK, there's no way if I remove the cookie, there's just no way I'm going to be let. Like, what if? I'm curious, right? And I refresh the page. Look at that. I can play again. That's crazy. I'm getting my discounts again. I love that. I wonder what else could we find out, right? So we have that. And one of the things is like, OK, how do I get to this state as fast as possible? So one of the things you can do if you go to sources here, and there's a thing called snippets. And these are sort of reusable snippets of JavaScript you can write. Let me see. Let me just do that a little bit. So it's very simple. So this, by the way, this is not jQuery. This is just an alias for document query selector. So I just replaced the site search form with a button that says hack the store. And the button just deletes all the cookies but the user session and reloads the page. So what you do is a shortcut for this. Command P or Control P, exclamation point, and then it runs a snippet. There's a snippet called button. So a button appears here that says hack the store. I click the button, and I'm at the state where I can play again. So if you really enjoy gambling, you can just do this. Oh, sorry. You can just do it over and over again. Button, boom, hack the store. It refreshes. I can play again. I love this. So this is sort of how we could reproduce things like this if we want to play around with pages. Yeah. One of the ways. Now, we want to get in and infiltrate and see, well, maybe we want to change the page in some sort of way. Actually, one of the things that happened to me once my banking web app was not working. It was like throwing some error. So when I debugged and changed the banking app, so I could pay the taxes, right? Sometimes that happens as well. So you can do that, right? You can change the code. But first we need to find out. So let's go back to. Let's make it much smaller. Oh wow, this is not very responsive. Right. So we have a couple of big scary chunks of code, right? This one. So sometimes you can get a glimpse of what it is there in the chunks that there is. What matters, right? So this one seems to be like analytics. Sometimes you just open a JavaScript file and you see, OK, this is like probably like a vendor chunk with some libraries because this is like seems like an HTTP client in here. And this one is actually looks like a date-time library, right? And we don't exactly know what kind of JavaScript, because there could be tens of thousands of lines of code in one file, and just like there's no way you're gonna find what exactly is going to happen, right? So there are a couple of ways to infiltrate the code, right? So what we could do is, anyone unfamiliar with the JavaScript debugger? Do you raise your hand if you don't know what the breakpoints are? Excellent. I don't have to talk about this. So yeah, what you can do is you can stop JavaScript at any point, and sometimes, let me hack the store again. So sometimes, if you don't know when something happens in the code, what you can say is, OK, when the subtree of this like DOM element changes, you do break on. This is probably very tiny. I apologize for that. I didn't know that. OK, so whenever the subtree of this DOM changes, we pause JavaScript. And this brings us into the code, closer to the business logic, so to say, right? This is directly in the event listener. But that doesn't even really matter, right? Because what we want, usually, sometimes, one of the easiest ways I find, if your sort of UI is heavily driven by the server, what you can do is you just go to, you can see what made the request. So in the network tab right here, in the initiator, you can see if you go all the way down, you'll find this is the place that started it all, that made the request. And this is maybe this is when we know that the server gives us something at this point. Maybe this is where we want to stop, right? And see what we can do. So we have successfully infiltrated our page. And what I'd like to do next is, the next step in my framework is untangle. And this is the most fun part. And now if you have weak eyes, you can now open them, because we are going to switch to ID, and it's going to get darker. Right? So what I like to do now is, again, if you didn't know, in developer tools, you can use things like local overrides, right? And in here, you can create a folder on your very computer that's going to replace the JavaScript files on your website. So you click that thing. Whoop, OK. This probably, is it visible enough? I don't think we need to see the code here. It doesn't matter. So let's jump into the ID. Right? So this looks somewhat questionable. So again, this is a fairly easy example. Sometimes you'll see like even worse stuff. But on the first glance, might look a bit weird. Like, so we know that that function is what's making the request. It's like a HTTP client. And to me, the most fun thing in all of this is the process, is the detective process of doing all the work of renaming. Right. So what do? It's the function called queue, and you just say make request. Very easy. The reason we wanted to jump into the ID is because we want to do like a var type aware or whatever it is, like syntax aware renaming. So it rename it in one place. It renames it everywhere else. Right. So we go here. Right. M is where we make a request, and then we do items. So this we can safely say that these are items from server. Easy as that, right? And then we can see, so what is the A? What are we listening on? And that is, that's a button. So we do that. Prepare for 20 minutes of this. So start, button, right? And look at this, a very, very scary line. So it's a bunch of functions here that all have one letter. If you start from, sometimes I start from the right as well. So this is an array of texts. So when I don't know what exactly the thing does yet, I'll just say array of text, just like that. So we don't know what it is yet. And then we go in here. Let's see, array of text. This actually looks kind of like statuses for the game. So we just rename it statuses, just like that, right? Moving left, this is, I assume, to format a text here, by the looks of this, right? So we do format text. And this one is, it just sets a text content of the node to something, whatever that is. I assume, and then we know that it just updates the DOM element, so we say set status, right? And just like that, going over like line by line and just previewing what the thing does, and then if you have no idea what it is, I think there's a function like this here. This one, it just hides some elements and unhides other elements. It's like, okay, so I'll name it hide some elements and unhide others, right? That's all we need to know for now. And if it actually turns out that this is an important function, it does something important, we just go back and inspect it and rename it later on. But for now, I assume this is just like DOM manipulation because we don't have any like frameworks or whatever it is here. Then we do reveal card for each HTTP. OK. Ooh, jumping back in. OK. So in here, it does something really nice. I suppose that is, what's the best name? Can you help me with the good naming? Yeah, toggle, card, state, whatever. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just for us to figure out. And this is, I guess, on things gone wrong. Right. So just like that, we untangled a very short bit of JavaScript. And as like a bonus side effect, if we scroll up, we never touched these functions, but we already know what the code like this does. And if you ever, one of my favorite genres of YouTube videos is looking at someone reverse engineering a native binary. So this like a compiled app. And the process, believe it or not, the process is almost exactly the same. So what you do is just you go over memory. It's a bit more involved. And again, I'm not an expert on this. I have almost zero experience with this kind of stuff. But the process is exactly the same. You just go around, you see with the function, you vaguely understand what it does. And then from further context, you untangle the meaning of the function. How are we doing on time? So this process is, I mean, the first time you do this, it's a fun detective game. The more you do this, the more boring it becomes. So, right. And what I wanted to do originally, I wanted to change this thing into something real fun. And I was thinking, what if instead of running this like snippet every time to hack the store, what if I just built it all in, built it in like existing business logic of this app? So actually, there's a thing that's called incaseimtooslow.js. And this is, to be honest, I did this yesterday at 2 a.m. I did untangling the website back, and I did a fair amount of it. It's exactly the same process as before, right? I'll just copy paste it, or it's the same code, all right? And at the end of the day, what I did is I found a function that does this. So once you play the game, if you refresh, you'll see this screen right here. And I reused the function that does this screen, and on init, it's essentially the same thing. You add a button that hacks the store, then you delete cookies, and you make a request, and then you use the function. So this is why it's different from the snippet, because you're actually able to use functions that are already in the code. So this is like it like formats your winning items in a nice way, right? So once you have that, you have overridden, you have hacked the store successfully, and you have the button here. So now you're just like, OK, I'm going. I'm going to do my daily reward. I don't like these discounts. Let's just do it again. Boom, boom. And just like that, if you just have the DevTools open and override active, you could just do that. And that is so much fun. That brought me so much joy. And but you know that the casino always wins. And the thing is that no matter what I did, no matter what kind of things I tried to do, right, it was always I think I have 5 as well. Yep. So no matter what I did, the discounts here never exceeded like 30%. I did like many rounds of sampling. It's just 30% is the max you can get. And obviously, the game works. And the reason, here's the thing. The reason I even started doing all of this, because I used to work in a growth team. And this is the shit I used to do for work, right? I do stuff like this. And you say, most people say, like, oh, users are dumb. And most people, they don't care about is it rigged or not. They just want to flip some cards that you get a dopamine hit, and you're going to go to the store and spend your money in there. And that works. And I used to do this. This is how I know that it works. Right, so yeah, the game is rigged, obviously. There's nothing you can do. We can roll new discounts, but we can never get big ones. Right, and you're asking me probably, why even bother with all this if we have AI? This is the first time I'm going to mention AI. And you ask me, what do you think? Can AI do this as well? You're right, it can. And you can also ask it to speak like a pirate while explaining you the code. For instance, here it has the first bigger heap of code be date and time rigging. So because the first part is for daytime formatting library. Teaches the ship how to read dates. So yeah, you can do that. But actually, so this is the GPT 5.5, and it does a pretty reasonable job with like long process of thinking, and then it prioritize if you ask it to. Right. So yes, it works, but I tried a sample of code from actually my previous place of work, because they fired me. I said, OK, what if I untangle your JavaScript? So So when you go to things like big frameworks and long strings of data, there's just simply not enough context over time. And I think we will get better, and I'm sure there are like more specialized tools that do this much better. But again, it's nice to be able to do the things. Like for some, I think Tejas told me yesterday that soon there will be no UIs. Everything is going to be just MCP, text. Are you excited for a future like this? Yes, yes, okay, okay. I think I'm a little bit old-fashioned, but I like nice UIs. So, yeah. Oh, I missed the last slide, but yeah, of course. So, yeah, before we wrap it up, I wanted to do, this is like a plot twist reveal at the end of the talk. So the website is not actually real. It's running on my website, on my computer right here. It's called Fake from our website version 2. So, but the story is 100% real. But the thing is, obviously, this happened to me over 8 years ago, and this website no longer exists, probably for many years, and good reasons, right? But yeah, are you impressed? Did you believe it was real? Did you not believe it? Okay, all right, that's fair. All right. With that in mind, I'm going to wrap it up early so you could have a nice coffee break. And thank you for coming. If you scan the QR code, you're going to go to my silly website. It just teaches you ways of contacting me and finding some of my other experiments. So thank you so much for coming.